Well, tonight's Late News special report is about an Australian woman who has spent the past 2 days walking the corridors of power to educate politicians in Canberra about what she believes are the horrific effects of exposure to depleted uranium. The US military has been using the chemical since the Gulf War. The international community will soon vote at the United Nations, urging more transparency on the use of depleted uranium weapons. Australia plans to abstain on that vote, but Donna Mulhern wants to change all that. In a moment, I'll be speaking to her, but first, Leah Craven has her story. And a warning, there are some distressing images in this report.
Is this the toxic legacy of the Iraq War? Parents bury their fourth child. 2 were stillborn, 2 died soon after birth. This is life in the city of Fallujah, where doctors report an unprecedented surge in birth defects. They blame a chemical used by the US military, depleted uranium.
So there is contamination.
1 round of depleted uranium can pierce a tank's thick armour, leaving only a burned-out shell. Australian peace activist Donna Mulhern was in Iraq when the war began as a human shield. On 3 subsequent trips, she has documented the increase in infant mortality, congenital birth defects, leukemia and cancer.
Today we have a little baby girl who was born just 1 hour ago, and she has birth defects connected with her spine, neuro defects. She also has an enlarged skull.
Helpless parents camp out in hospital.
That's the face of a woman watching her baby die.
Most of the photos Donna took of babies in Fallujah City Hospital are too shocking to broadcast. But for paediatrician Dr. Samira Alani, it's her daily reality.
I have recorded 30 cases.
In 1 month?
In 1 month.
The US military acknowledges that it has used depleted uranium in Iraq. This statement from 2003 boasts that a depleted uranium round had penetrated directly through a sand dune to demolish a tank hiding behind it. At the same time, a US Defence Health official said, there is no substantial evidence to suggest that depleted uranium is the source of any particular illness from the Gulf War. Australia's Foreign Minister Bob Carr says the government pays close attention to studies, but points out there aren't definitive links between health effects and exposure to the chemical.
If there's no link, what caused this? The difference between the figures before 2004 and after have changed dramatically.
Donna's on the warpath to increase awareness and hopes her personal experience will make an impact. She's lobbying the Australian government to vote for greater transparency about the use of depleted uranium at the United Nations later this month.
For more on this, I'm joined now from Canberra by peace activist and author Donna Mulhern, who is leading the campaign in Australia for a vote against the use of depleted uranium weapons. Donna, thanks for joining us. Look, you were among several Australian human shields to visit Iraq when the war began, and you've since spent a great deal of time on the ground there. Just how significant is the birth deformity crisis in Iraq?
I'd say it's extremely significant. We've got examples where in some communities we're seeing up to 30 cases every month of very severe birth deformities. An example is the city of Fallujah. So 30 a month is 1 to 2 a day. That's 700 in a year. That's almost 1/3 of all births. There's also a very high level of women miscarrying and a very high level of women giving birth to babies who are stillborn.
But Donna, what evidence is there? Is the evidence there to suggest that these birth deformities are being caused by the use of depleted uranium?
Well, certainly we have evidence of the use of depleted uranium in certain areas in Iraq, such as in Baghdad in 2003 and 4, and there's been more than 400,000 kilograms of depleted uranium dispersed throughout these communities. It's also alleged that depleted uranium was used in the attacks in the city of Fallujah in 2004. A researcher found that the health problems in Fallujah connected with uranium are even more severe than Hiroshima and Nagasaki after the atomic weapons were dropped there.
You've spent a great deal of time in the hospitals in Fallujah, as you've mentioned, west of Baghdad. The misery that you see, Donna, in the eyes of the children in those hospitals, I would imagine would be something that will be very, very difficult to ever leave behind.
It's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking, especially when the women look at you and seem to want some kind of answer or solution. And the advice to the women of Fallujah from the head gynaecologist at the moment, the official medical recommendation is just stop. As in, don't fall pregnant, because it's likely you won't give birth to a healthy child. So that's devastating for many women to hear. And what they're saying is, we'll wait till there's a solution, and when a solution comes, things will get better. Of course, because we're talking about uranium, there is no solution. This is a sentence on this community that's going to last about 500 million years, and that is heartbreaking. There's nothing sadder than the face of a woman watching her baby die. And I saw many of those faces recently when I was in Fallujah. When the tanks and the guns are packed up and the armies go home, they've left a legacy. And it's a toxic, radioactive legacy that these communities have to then live with.
Good luck with the campaign. Donna Mulhern, thank you.